What's up guys, Derek, MorePlateSmartAids.com. Today we're going to be talking about Trae Young, the 22-year-old absolute NBA phenom. This guy is, what can I say? He's a fucking fiend on the court, and he is gotten a lot of heat the other day because of, his appearance at against the Knicks, and they had quite the chant prepared for him to throw him off his game. And I thought, a lot of people tagged me in it expectedly, and it was kind of a fucked up rant, dude. Like, it's not just trying to be distracting. It's like being as insulting as humanly possible simultaneously. It's kind of surprising that, I don't know, maybe it's not surprising that people dipped this hard, but I mean, here we have The Score, the Instagram page, and you can hear for yourself what the chant was. So if you hear, they're saying Trae Young's balding. Chants are echoing throughout Madison Square Gardens. Fucking freezing cold, icy cringe face via Kyle Maggio / Twitter. I don't think it's making Trae play bad. Please keep doing it. Definitely working out for the Knicks right now. Crying laughing face. What's the best kind of balls to play? What the fuck, dude? Nice promotion. Knicks are losing. Knicks are losing this series. Crying laughing face. Yeah, Trae and the Hawks are balling. They need to come up with something new. Puzzled inquisition face. Crying laughing face ×2. So this is apparently this printout that was circulated around in the stands to basically instruct everyone on what to do. Tonight's chant is Trae is balding. At only 22 years old, Trae's hair is thinning at an alarmingly fast pace, and he has a bald spot forming on the crown of his head. This will be a much more effective chant to take advantage of home court and throw Trae off his game. Gonna sound like Trae is balling. Yeah, I guess that is true. Trae is balling. Wow, that's like the first fucking comments. Rasheed Wallace. That's pretty clever, dude. That's pretty fucking clever. The kids won't get this one. that made up for the rest of the shitty comments. Enchanting, fire symbol, hard eyes with a giant fucking fat ass, bro. All right, so anyways, this is, fucking rude as hell. And, obviously pulling out all the stops to try and distract them. They have, interestingly enough, The Score post this little, I don't know, reenactment or whatever the fuck you would call it of, is this supposed to be Kramer, I'm assuming?
You're bald!
Okay, so I guess it's reenacting, showing what the people in the stands are doing to Trae. It's not like The Score isn't actually making fun of him themselves, but this is pretty fucked up, dude. Whoever came up with this, I don't know if this is common practice, to be honest, but I've never seen something like this, uncontrollable, that people aggressively lean on to try and throw a guy off his game. It's I don't know, what's the next step? You tell a guy his fucking I don't know, you find out fucked up details about his family and scream at him while he's on the free throw line. I don't know. So this is there's been some articles coming around about this. Knicks fans were instructed to taunt Trae Young about balding, and you can see here a visual representation of the diffuse thinning. New York Knicks fans taunted Trae Young on Wednesday night about balding after being given explicit instructions to do so. Fans at Madison Square Garden attending Game 2 of the Knicks playoff series against the Atlanta Hawks received sheets of paper telling them to taunt Young about balding. Entire garden has been handed these. Holy fuck, dude. Let's see what the comment section is like on this one. Gonna sound like Trae. Yeah, it's gonna sound like Trae is balding. I noticed my son thinning at 17. He had a vigorous, beautiful, trimmed beard. He's shaved his head so we'll never worry about bald again. Beautiful eyes. Smart. What the fuck is the most irrelevant thing? Something is deeply broken with our society. This is devoid of basic decency and is what? Supposed to be funny? Yeah, yeah, dude. To me, this is a bit over the fucking top. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just, not getting it, but this seems a bit aggressive. Sure enough, fans collaborated on that chant during the fourth quarter when Young was at the free throw line. Trae is balding with 284.6 thousand views by Barstool Sports.
He does this time was 9 for 9 the previous game. There's one more coming now. So another free.
Damn. Fans continued the Trae Is Balding chants even after the Knicks won 101-92. We got Trae Is Balding chants outside Madison Square Garden. Fucked up. Young had a fun time playing to the fans in game 1 of the series. He helped his Hawks win that game, but they lost in game 2. Maybe this chant from Knicks fans worked better than their previous one. Oh, so they had another one before. It wasn't as effective. So you pull up the big guns, you tell him he looks like shit and he's losing his hair. That is the fucking answer apparently. So Trae is indeed losing his hair quite severely for a 22-year-old, but he's been like well on his way. We all know those guys who even in high school had such aggressive androgenic alopecia that you knew they were going to be like pretty far gone pretty quick. They had, you know, Norwood 3s, 4s even in fucking like grade 11. Not super common, but it definitely happens. And he's unfortunate in that obviously he's been blessed in many aspects and maybe he doesn't even give a fuck. But in the genetics department for his hair follicles, he's had diffuse thinning for like years at this point. Like literally as a teenager, he had very recognizable androgenic alopecia progression. There's even this funny forum post. This is how you know Trae Young will be a great one, ... Already going bald at age 19. So this is back in fucking college, dude. So this is, you know, he's got the diffuse thinning already pretty significantly. And this is before he's even out of his teen years. So the question is does he even give a fuck? I don't know. I don't meticulously watch this guy's interviews. I'm sure it's come up at least once or twice. Maybe somebody can drop in the comments if he's touched on it. But what I would be interested in is if he's actually doing anything about it. Because as far as I know, WADA actually had finasteride listed as a banned substance for a reasonable duration of time. Now that was a while ago now, but it was actually listed as a masking agent under prohibited substances because it would help mask certain compounds from like excretion ratios and whatnot with actual bioidentical hormones, as well as with apparently with synthetic hormones. Somehow it would throw shit off too, which I don't know how. Like if you're inhibiting 5-alpha reduction to DHT, the only thing I could imagine you would throw off is downstream ratios for your biological passport when you were trying to assess if a guy is, you know, aberrating. Is that if there's aberrations in any sort of urinary ratios of, you know, T to EPT, not that one, but, you know, some of the downstream hormones that are also checked in the ratios, you could theoretically manually alter some of those with finasteride deployment. So interestingly enough, though, it was since removed after a handful of years of it being enacted where people weren't allowed to take finasteride. There were actually a decent amount of athletes who were penalized for taking finasteride unknowingly because they didn't even know that they weren't supposed to take it, that you needed a therapeutic use exemption for it, which I guess it's kind of on you, and the onus is on you to kind of look at every fucking drug you're taking and if there's an update to the prohibited list. But a lot of people received unnecessary bans essentially for finasteride use. Now again, I guess hypothetically you could argue they could have been using it to mask shit, but in general, like you're not going to get a performance enhancing advantage out of finasteride, and it's pretty benign, you know? Like if anything, you might argue you get decreased performance in a sports context. It's not going to hinder muscle growth really or strength outcomes, but in a neurological aspect, having less DHT, like it's not going to help your athletic performance, that's for certain. So for him, you know, Trae Young, is he on finasteride? Is he on minoxidil? Like what is he doing? Who fucking knows? Maybe he's talked about it before, but he would obviously benefit from the use of those two compounds. And it would be interesting to see what his stance is on it in general, if he actually cares or not. And did it hinder his game? Like, I don't fucking know. But at the end of the day, I know to really like dig into a guy about something he has really like no control over genetically and be like, you might as well be like, I don't know, like, well, it's like if a guy fucking I don't know, was dropped on his face as a baby and he fucking had like deformity, and then you were just like telling him he's ugly as fuck every single game at the free throw line. Is that over the line? Like, I don't know, dude. With Trae Young, like, this is an uncontrollable genetic predisposition, essentially. It would be no different than being like, your acne's fucking disgusting, or like chanting gynecomastia when he's at the fucking free throw line. Like, I'm trying to think of like a parallel example, but at the end of the day, this guy has no control over how good his sweaty, diffuse, thinning hair looks when he's at the free throw line, like deep into a game. And shitting on him for it is like, is that the like thing you have to go to of everything? Like, you couldn't think of something better? Like, I guess it is potentially the most distracting thing, because if you think about it from an insecurity context, a guy who is balding, what is going to hit him the hardest? I guess it would be saying, we can all see you're balding, even though he fucking knows already. So is it like you're just being a dickhead for the sake of being a dickhead to try and distract him? And maybe it worked. I don't know. Was this the first time the Trae Is Balding chant was deployed, and was it successful? Like, any NBA fans, drop comments down below if you've seen, if you've been following it more closely. To be honest, I kind of just transiently watch highlights here and there. I'm not too like on point in terms of keeping up with what's going on now, but I see shit here and there. And of course, this thing I get tagged in, and I was like, I couldn't help but shake my head, dude. I was like, wow, like this is the depths to which fucking people will go to distract people, and just fucking mind-boggling. So anyways, obviously a great player, obviously has a lot of things going for him. You don't need to really blow smoke up his ass to make him feel better about himself. I don't know how much he gives a fuck about the balding thing, but I guess let's see if it impacts the rest of the series. Like, people seem to think they may be onto something with this, so we shall see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplates.com. Follow me on Instagram and More Plates, More Dates, Facebook, Snapchat, BitChute, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to see some of my deep dives into hair loss prevention, hopefully you don't end up with somebody yelling at you saying you're fucking balding, because that would be not a fun scenario to endure. Check out my hair loss prevention playlist. It is linked on my channel, and subscribe if you are interested in learning about the more in-depth information about hair loss pharmacology, endocrinology, how to attenuate it, or at least, try and mitigate it as much as possible with the least risk of side effects, what medications are efficacious, what kind of novel treatments around the corner, shit like that. It's all in my channel, and highly recommend you subscribe if you're interested. And if you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below, including my recommended fast-drying minoxidil and the best ketoconazole shampoo that I would recommend for the starting your hair loss journey. If you're going to do the big three, that's kind of like the go-to starting newbie stack, essentially. That's very, very potent and useful, or potent and, I don't know, like, actually has a high ROI in terms of it producing very, very significant results, to the point where if you catch it early enough, you can pretty much make it look like you've never experienced hair loss in your life. Those would be, the fast-drying minoxidil. It doesn't look greasy. That is obviously the best growth stimulant you could use. Ketoconazole shampoo, a mild androgen receptor antagonist. That is, reasonable, at least, at cleaning up the scalp environment that you have for making it more conducive to hair growth. And then obviously finasteride being a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor to prevent the miniaturization of hair follicles as you go. You should not be using just a growth stimulant like minoxidil without finasteride concurrently, or some sort of androgen receptor antagonist topically, or something of that nature, ideally to halt the further miniaturization process, because if you just use something like minoxidil on its own, you are in fact just stimulating growth without preventing further degradation of existing hair follicles, consequently leading to just dragging out your demise, essentially. Because eventually the cosmetic representation of increased density will be offset by the continuous fucking burning of your hair follicles off your head. Not literally, but you know what I mean, if you don't have something attenuating DHT. So anyways, that is in the description below. My TRT clinic as well, if you want to get finasteride topical formulations, oral formulations. I'm even working on getting a oral preparation made in a 0.2 or 0.25 milligram increment. So then those who are very worried about side effects can start with the lowest effective dose and titrate up accordingly, rather than being forced to take 1 milligram off the bat, or 1.25 if they're splitting up Proscar into quarters. As well as my recommended lab tests and diagnostics to stay on top of your health for hormone optimization, general health practices, see what your endocrine parameters are like in case you're getting into DHT inhibition. You want to see if you have high estrogen at baseline, see how prone you might be to gynecomastia or something like that. I would recommend you check that all out. It is all in the video description below. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.